Welcome to Create More Intimacy, a podcast for men. I'm Elisa Stoddard, and I help successful men stop chasing sex and start building real connection so they finally feel close, connected, and wanted again. Some men reach midlife and their marriage feels alive and connected and even fun. Others feel lonely, stuck, and a little lost. And I want you to think about this for a second. What do the men with fulfilling marriages actually do differently? Why do some couples seem to get stronger when the kids launch, while others drift further apart? Today, I'm going to talk about the dynamic I see all the time. Men relying on their wives for everything. She's their confidant, the social calendar, the entertainment, sometimes even the identity. And here's the uncomfortable truth. The more you depend on her to carry your happiness, the more pressure you put on her, and the less she wants to be around you. Now, maybe this sounds familiar. You work hard, you've been steady in your career, you've provided for your family. You're a success by all measures. And in that stability, your wife was the one running the home, keeping the family connected, managing the social life. She had the kids' schedule, she planned the vacations, she made sure you saw family and friends. And now that the kids are older, or maybe even gone, you suddenly realize you don't really have that much of a life outside of her. You don't have hobbies, you don't have deep friendships, you don't even know what to do with a free Saturday unless she planned it. That's where this puppy dog dynamic shows up. Men following their wives around, waiting for her to decide what's next. And at first, it might sound harmless, even sweet. But here's what you need to know. It does not feel that way to her. She feels smothered, pressured, maybe even resentful, because she's worked hard to reinvent herself in midlife. Maybe she's tried pottery or hiking or found some new friends, and now she feels like she has to drag you along just so you won't be bored. And this is where loneliness and disconnection creep in. Because relying on your wife for all of your happiness does not bring you closer. It pushes her further away. In this episode, I'm going to help you see why your efforts to stay close might actually be driving her away, and what you can do instead to stop feeling lonely and start building a life that makes you fun, interesting, and worthy of connecting with again. Welcome to episode 22, Lonely Husband, Lonely Marriage, and What Needs to Change. I've noticed this pattern over and over again. When men don't develop their own interests, their own friendships, their own life, they lean in harder and harder on their wives to fill the gap. And it does not come across as closeness. It comes across as clingy and pressure-filled. Your wife might have started a new hobby or joined a group or maybe even signed up for a class with a friend. And while she's out there discovering herself in midlife, you're left feeling like she has all the time in the world for everything and everyone else, but not for you. That's exactly what one of my clients told me. He said, she always has time for the things she loves, but never for me. So I asked him, what do you like to do? What makes you feel alive? What is fun for you? And after a long pause, he admitted he didn't really know, that the things he loved were things from back when he was in high school and college. That's when I asked, so how do you usually connect with her? And his answer was, well, I kind of follow her around and hope that she'll acknowledge me. And when she doesn't spend time with me, I complain and feel totally rejected. So I pushed him a little and I said, what do you think that shows her? And he said, that I care, that I want to be with her. All right, guys, here's the problem. Hovering isn't showing interest. Hovering is just hovering. And it feels like a bid to be included without doing any of the work to actually engage or bring something of your own to the table. To him, it felt like closeness. To her, it felt like pressure. And when she finally told him, I feel like I cannot breathe when you're always there, waiting on me, it crushed him. And he said, I thought following her showed love, but it didn't land as love. It landed as weight. That moment opened up his eyes. His wife was not rejecting him. She was rejecting the role of carrying him. And that is a very different problem. Now, before we go any further, I want to say something really important. If you're listening to this and you realize, oh man, that totally sounds like me, I do not want you to hear this as criticism or weakness, because you aren't broken and you're not failing as a man. The truth is, most men were not taught how to build and maintain friendships. You're taught to work hard and provide and to keep your head down. And honestly, that worked for a long time. Career and kids and mortgage, man, you stayed in your lane and kept the train on the tracks. Meanwhile, your wife, she had to be social by necessity. She managed the kids and schedules and playdates and school functions and birthdays. She built the connections that kept the household alive. So it makes sense that now, in midlife, she knows how to branch out and reinvent herself while you still feel stuck. This isn't about shame. This is about awareness, and it's not your fault you were not given the tools, but it is your responsibility now to pick them up. When a man leans completely on his wife for his sense of connection, it does a few things all at once. It drains her energy. She's worked hard to rediscover herself after raising kids. She's learning and growing and maybe even taking risks. And instead of cheering her on, she feels like she has to slow down and drag you along just to keep you from feeling left behind. Another thing it does is it changes how she sees you. She stops seeing you as her partner in adventure and starts seeing you as another dependent. And let me tell you, no woman wants to feel like she's raising her husband after she already raised kids. It also creates resentment, because the very things that light her up, her hobbies, her friendships, they have become points of contention between you two. She can't enjoy them fully because she knows you'll either complain or feel hurt that she didn't choose you. And then, like I mentioned, some men try to fill the gap with humor. But it's not humor that connects. Guys, some of you are still using the same crude jokes you said in high school, that same locker room banter that might have been funny at 17, but now at 47 or 57, it just feels out of place. And it's a cover-up for not knowing how to have real adult, emotionally mature conversations. And underneath all of this is another truth. A lot of men don't actually know how to be a friend, not with their wives and not with other men. They have been so focused on work and family that the skills of building and maintaining relationships have gotten rusty. So then what happens? They envy their wives. They see her out with friends, laughing and alive, and they feel left out. And they wonder, why would she want to be with them instead of me? But there's a hard truth here. You're not giving her a reason. Because friendships and laughter and energy don't just appear. You have to bring them. I worked with another man who admitted he was jealous of his wife's friends, and he said that she's always laughing with them and she lights up when they're around. And then with me, it's like I'm invisible. He was frustrated and honestly heartbroken. From his perspective, she was choosing them over him. But here's what I asked him. What are you bringing to her? What energy, what fun, what curiosity do you add to her day? That's when he admitted, he didn't bring much. He was showing up with complaints and resentment and neediness, and he wanted her to feel his loneliness. But he wasn't offering anything that made her want to lean in. That's the thing about envy. It blinds you. Instead of seeing what's possible for you, you just see what someone else has. He could have built friendships. He could have found hobbies. But because he didn't, his wife's joy felt like a threat instead of an invitation. And the more he made comments like, "Guess you're too busy with your girlfriends for me," the more she pulled away. It didn't make her want to spend more time with him. It made her want to protect time she had left. Underneath all of that envy, there's something even more important to name here. A lot of men don't just lack hobbies or friends. They don't actually know how to be a friend. I remember a client who said, "I don't get why I don't have any close friends like I used to." So I asked, "When was the last time you called someone just to check in? When did you follow up on something that they told you was happening in their life? When did you plan something that wasn't about convenience?" He couldn't think of a time. See, friendships aren't automatic, not as adults. Friendships are built on the small acts of showing up and paying attention and remembering and reaching out. Somewhere along the way, many men lose that skill. They expect friendships to just be there without the effort. And when I say learn how to be a friend, let me be clear about what it is not. It is not just showing up at the bar, sitting next to guys watching a game and calling it good. That's proximity. That's not friendship. It's not about being in the same room while everyone stares at a screen saying like surface level comments about the game and then going home without ever knowing what is really going on in their lives. I know that might be the most comfortable for you, but it does not create connection, the kind that you are really, really lonely for. Friendship means effort. It means actually asking questions and remembering details and following up and letting someone know they matter to you. It's less about the event and more about the investment. And then when their wife has close supportive friendships, they feel even more left behind. Not because she's rejecting them, but because they haven't put in the work to nurture connection outside of her. So how do you know if this is you? Let me give you a really quick gut check. Do you wait for your wife to make all the plans? Do you feel bored when she's out without you? Do you get resentful when she's laughing with her friends or gone with her friends? Do you find yourself complaining more than contributing? Do you feel like she's your only real friend? If you said yes to even a couple of these, this episode is talking directly to you. All right, so what do you do instead? Well, you've got to take responsibility for your own happiness. You have got to stop outsourcing it to her. Yes, you want connection in the marriage, but if it's your only source of joy, it's too much pressure. Build a life that feels full. It doesn't mean you need 10 new hobbies by next week. Start small. Dust off that guitar. Join a gym class. Volunteer. Go on a hike. The point is to inject energy and curiosity into your life again. Next, you've got to learn how to be a friend. Friendship is built on showing up and following through. Text someone, invite them to lunch, check on something they mentioned the last time you saw them. Stop waiting for it to magically happen. Okay, side note. In the past, when it magically happened because your wife made it happen. Okay, next thing. Bring the energy back into your marriage. When you're lit up from your own life, you become more attractive. She's drawn back in. And this time it isn't because she has to carry you, but it's because she sees you as a man who's alive and interesting and fun again. And when you do that, you stop being another responsibility for her and start becoming the partner that she actually wants to spend time with again. So here's the bottom line. If you've been feeling lonely in your marriage, the answer isn't to follow your wife around or for you to wait for her to fill you up. That only makes you feel more disconnected, and it makes her feel like there's a lot of pressure. Instead, remember what we talked about today. Stop leaning on her as your only source of connection. Don't slip back into old high school humor or envy her friendships. Start building a life that makes you feel alive. And when you do that, you stop being another responsibility for her and start becoming the partner that she actually wants to spend time with again. Thanks for being here. We'll see you next time. Thanks for being here. If something in this episode hit home, don't forget to subscribe and leave a review. It helps more men find the support they need. And if you are ready to get help or take the next step, you'll find the link to book a free call in the show notes. I'll see you next time.